To identify the feedback loops and figure out whether they are balancing or reinforcing, I like taking the elements that I think are in a feedback loop together and just isolating them so I can really think about what the relationship is. It helps if you draw it out. You don't have to, but it can help just with your thinking and then as you're trying to explain it to somebody else. So I've pulled 3 elements out of the map, and I'll talk about why we have 3 in this one rather than 2. You can have multiple elements within a feedback loop. It's usually easier to start with simpler ones that just have 2 or 3 pieces. The thing that's missing in this one is the original trigger. So in this case, what's going to happen is the first thing that occurs is that somebody is going to go in and adjust the thermostat. So we're going to say that I'm going to my thermostat and I'm going to turn it up because I think it needs to be a little warmer in the house. So I'm going to go to the thermostat and turn it up, and then I'm going to leave it on its own. All right. So from the thermostat is going to tell the furnace that it wants the temperature to go up. Yep, it's going to make me point. There we go. So the thermostat, because I turned the thermostat up, it tells the furnace time to turn the temperature up. So furnace then turns on, and the furnace then affects the air temperature inside. In this case, because we turned the thermostat up, the furnace turned on, the indoor ambient air temperature is going to go up. What that does then is the thermostat detects that the temperature has gone up, and it goes, oh, okay, it's warmed up to the temperature that I was set at, so I'm going to change my response. So the thermostat reads the temperature of the air, and the thermostat responds. So remember, the air temperature went up, which means that that's going to trigger the thermostat to actually turn basically the furnace off. So the thermostat doesn't actually change, but it's going to send the message to the furnace to turn off. And then when the furnace turns off, our indoor air temperature is going to go down. And then the thermostat will go, oh, it got too cold. I'm going to turn the furnace back on. So you can see that if we were to graph this, we would graph the air temperature, and we would see that we're going to go up, and then we're going to come back down, and then on the next cycle it'll go up again, and it'll come back down, and it'll go up and down. And so we're balancing around this goal point, the temperature that the thermostat was set at. And so that is a balancing feedback loop, the way that we've described this and shown this here. Now, how would we look at a reinforcing loop? What would be the difference there? So I'm just going to see if I can change my color of my pen. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a dotted line just in case. Oh, I don't want to change that one. Okay, I'm going to have to change it after the fact by the looks of it, but yeah. So what's going to happen is, let's pick a different color. Doesn't like me changing anything. It wants to change that. So what's going to happen is that if the thermostat stops reading the indoor ambient air temperature, so it no longer recognizes the air temperature. This happens, I've had this happen where my thermostat broke and it couldn't tell what temperature it was in my place. And so what were the consequences there? So I'll just draw this in a new spot since my original plan was not working. So what's going to happen in that situation is that we're going to have our thermostat. I'm going to go, oh, hey, it's cold in here. Turn the thermostat up. So that's cool. I've changed this. And it's going to make the temperature, the furnace turn on. So it's going to make that increase. But without having the thermostat sensor working, so it can't read the temperature that it is, it's like, hey, I guess you should just keep going. So the furnace doesn't actually get a message back to the thermostat, but it's like, yeah, okay, I responded to you. So what do you want me to do next? And the thermostat is like, keep running. It's still not warm enough in here. So now all of a sudden these are going to keep going in the same direction. So the thermostat's going to keep telling the furnace, turn on. And the furnace is going to turn on and be like, are you sure you still want me to turn on? Oh, okay, I guess you still want me to turn on. And so in that case, it's less of a reinforcing loop just because of the physics of it all, but you would have this steady increase in the temperature. So it wouldn't be that exponential increase, but it's the closest we have to a reinforcing loop in this particular system. But you can see, so in this case, the furnace keeps going in the same direction, whereas this one over here, our balancing loop, sometimes it was increasing and sometimes it was decreasing. And so that's the biggest difference, is when you're looking at your feedback loops, is your target element, or is the thing that's changing, is it going up and down, or is it always going either up or down? So always in the same direction. And that will tell you whether it's balancing or reinforcing.